Alright, today we will take a look at how multiple site tracking works in HandiFox, and we will look at it in 3 different scenarios depending on how your QuickBooks is set up. Because as you may know, you can get the Advanced Inventory edition for QuickBooks, which among other things allows you to have multiple inventory sites inside QuickBooks and even bin locations within those sites. And HandiFox can work with those sites and bins too, but more on that later, because this Advanced Inventory edition costs money on top of QuickBooks itself, and it's only available with QuickBooks Enterprise solutions. So first, I suggest we see what HandiFox can do just on its own. Alright, here I have QuickBooks and HandiFox working with the test company file. So first, let me go to the quantity on hand viewer and show you something. So I've just installed HandiFox, and as you can see, it already lists one site, which is called main. Now this is the default site, which is always there, and it's the default site for everything that takes place inside QuickBooks. So all the transactions that are created inside QuickBooks itself are considered to belong to this site by HandiFox. But let me go ahead and create an additional site using the Inventory Site Manager. I'm going to call the site truck. And going back to the quantity on hand viewer, you can see it now lists our truck site, but it also says that every single one of my items is not available at this site. And what that means is that by default, this site knows about no items from the main item list. So you need to decide yourself which items this site will know about, which items will be on its own item list. And well, this is a test file. I have very few items here, so I'm just going to add all of them to this site using the create item list by site window. Okay. And now if I refresh this, yep, now it has all the items have some quantity on this side, meaning that they are listed there, although they're still zeros. So now let me use the transfer center inside HandiFox to send some of my items over to this side so we have something to experiment with. Right, now let's go over to the mobile device again and see how it all looks there. Okay, I have already reassigned this device to the truck site, which you can see right here. And if I look at my inventory, it still lists all zeros, but we have an inventory transfer incoming from another site waiting to be received. So let me receive it. And now we have some inventory to work with. So this device, every device can only see inventory at the site it is assigned to, and this is all the inventory you can work with. So I can check what the inventory levels are on other sites. For example, for this item it's showing there are 33 pieces on main, but I cannot do anything with that inventory, only with my own. So let me show you how it works by creating an invoice, for instance. Okay, and I'm gonna need to add some items to it, and you see it's showing in the quantity on hand column, it's showing only what's available at my site at the truck. So I'm going to select a few items, and if I try to select and sell something I don't have on this site, it's gonna warn me. Yes, and likewise, if I try to sell more than what I have on this site, it's also going to warn me, but I can still do it and go negative if QuickBooks allows it in its settings. So let me sell, for both these items, let me sell all but one piece so we can see it easily, and I'm just going to remove this item that I don't have. Okay, now let me synchronize and see how this looks. And by the way, it works the same way with other transactions like sales receipts, purchase orders, all of them. If you work with them, if you create them or work with them from a given device, they modify the inventory at the site this device belongs to. Okay, let's go over to the QuickBooks computer. Okay, I've synchronized the mobile device, and this is what the truck's inventory looks like after all our manipulations. So as expected, for these two items there's just one piece left because I sold everything but one piece. For the rest, it's however many I transferred in the first place, and here's what is remaining on main, and the total is just the sum of all the quantities on all sites. And this is also the only quantity that QuickBooks knows, because QuickBooks, as we have it set up right now, has no awareness of any inventory sites, so the total quantity is the only number it knows, and this information right here exists only inside HandiFox. Now let me try to enable multiple sites in QuickBooks itself, because I have advanced inventory, and see what that changes. Items and inventory, company, advanced inventory settings, and a bit of warning here. HandiFox, whenever you switch these settings, either sites or bins on or off, HandiFox cannot adjust to these changes seamlessly. So if you need to do that at some point, you will have to reinstall it. So let me enable the sites. Okay, now let me go ahead and reinstall HandiFox off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, now multiple sites are turned on in QuickBooks, and as you can see I have WH1, WH2 here, Warehouse 1 and Warehouse 2, and also Dropship and Unspecified site. And as you can see, the QH viewer inside HandiFox is showing them as well. These were not created in HandiFox, these are loaded from QuickBooks. And I have assigned my mobile device to WH2, Warehouse 2. And as far as the mobile app is concerned, almost nothing changes from this, except the fact that now all the site related information can be synchronized with QuickBooks, because now QuickBooks has awareness of inventory sites. For example, I've just created this new invoice on the mobile device, and if we look at it, you can see that it contains site related information. It was created on WH2, and all these items, they were subtracted from Warehouse 2's inventory. And likewise for all the other transactions, purchase orders, inventory counts, everything else. Okay, and now finally let's turn on bin locations and look at those. Okay, I've turned on bin locations in QuickBooks and reinstalled HandiFox again. So now each of my inventory sites has multiple bins within it. And I still have my mobile device assigned to the Warehouse 2 site. In the quantity on hand viewer, nothing has changed. Everything looks the same. So I suggest we go right over to the mobile device and see how bin locations are implemented in HandiFox mobile app. Okay, and now if we look under inventory, we can see a new section here, bin locations, which lets us manage the bins within our site, create new bins, and change the information about existing bins, rename them, for example, and also assign barcodes to them, so we can scan a barcode whenever we need to select a bin for something, instead of just selecting the bin from a list manually, for example, when counting inventory. And speaking of inventory counting, we can now specify the exact breakdown by bin of how many pieces we found in each bin, instead of just entering the total for the whole site. And for example, for the purchase orders, when receiving a purchase order, We can specify what bin the received items will go to. And likewise with sales transactions, when creating, for example, an invoice, we can select what bins the items will be drawn from when they are sold, like so. And also the item list can now show us a breakdown by bin. So the quantity is on every bin within our site and not just on every site. And all the details, all the bin information we have been entering on transactions will be stored, saved, and synchronized with QuickBooks so that it will be visible to all QuickBooks users. And I think this about wraps it up as far as inventory sites go inside HandiFox. This is not everything there is to know about them. I had to skip over some details because otherwise the video would just be way too long. But I think I've covered all the basics. I hope this video was helpful, and until next time, bye bye.